Hey, what's up? I am back at it again, but this time we're going to talk about how Sony accidentally leaked out the Warbond. We'll talk about how the Warbond dates are changing. We'll discuss the developer's response about the vast changes and what's coming along here very soon, and so much more that we will be discussing in today's video. If you enjoyed the video at any point, consider giving it a thumbs up by tapping the like button below the video. Let's begin by talking about the newest Warbonds in the future, because we will see a huge change here soon. So I'm sure you guys all know about the common release dates for these Warbonds, right? The first week you get the trailer, the second week is when you typically receive it. Well, that's about to change. The developers have confirmed that they are slowing down the pace so that they can release the Warbonds with a little bit more time and to polish them straight up. So that right there in itself is good news. Maybe for some of you that's not because you like to receive these common updates, but the developers really need to take their time with it, and as you can tell as of late with the newest Warbond, there is some huge changes. They've done a lot, and I'm definitely excited. With that being said, let's go ahead and check out the post and see exactly what they have said. Right here, the developers wrote, "Finally, we wanted to share that based on your feedback, we're changing our approach to Warbonds. Firstly, we're slowing the pace that we release Warbonds to allow a little more time to polish them. We'll confirm what that new time frame will be in the future." The developers continued on with the second post by saying, "Secondly, as you can see with the Viper Commandos, we're experimenting with Warbond item arrangements to make room for new types, customization, and higher quality armor weapons, all with stronger theming." So if we backtrack just a bit here and kind of go back towards the very first post, we can see that they mentioned that they're going to slow down the pace that they release the Warbonds. So that will give them more time to fix things up and kind of manage the damage, balancing, or whatever they do, right? That right there is some good news. I cannot wait to see what the next Warbond is going to be, because right now, this one that's currently been, talked about as of late, I've talked about it on the channel just recently, is that it looks great. It's unique, it's different from the other ones, and I'm just excited to see what happens. Earlier this morning, I did receive an answer from Shams Georgiani about, the overall trailer. Are we going to see it? Obviously, we have. And this right here was his exact response. "It arrives when it arrives. Practice patience. It's a pain, but it's a virtue." Between this comment and the one earlier from Helldivers 2, we can see that they do want to take their time with it, which I think that's a great idea. But this also means some bad news for you guys that are so used to seeing the Warbonds on the first week, and then, you're able to purchase it the second week. Well, that obviously is going to change. Currently, right now, I do have a pull up, and you can tell that the weapons is voted the most. And the second one, I suppose, is going to be the utilities. The bottom one, though, that one's definitely picking up because some of you are just unsure about it. If you are, I would like to know your thoughts about this. Why are you unsure about it? Is there something that stands out? Let me know your thoughts. Continuing on, apparently Sony had leaked out the Viper Commandos on the actual store, which is really surprising, but apparently it was removed shortly after because, they caught on to it. But as you can tell here in the screenshot, you do see multiverses at the top. Then at the bottom you will see Viper Commandos. This right here was leaked hours before the actual announcement, which was quite surprising considering that it's coming from Sony, and it was quickly discovered and they removed it. And of course the hours passed by, and then they announced it, and bam, there you go, it's back up again. So I thought it was interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. Continuing on, the developers have went into some detail about these weapons specifically. So, for example, the new AR-23A Liberator Carbine, or some of you actually hate me saying, dash in between the sentences, but whatever. They have said that this right here is going to be a high recoil, fast handling rifle, which is really awesome. But my main concern, and I'm also wondering, will these new weapons have enough ammo in them, or will it be a situation where we need to run to the supplies as soon as possible? The second weapon is by far my favorite because it's a secondary shotgun, and it's a triple barrel, by the way. So yeah, you throw 3 shells in it and you just go to town. Next, the developers have revealed the ship management screen. So you can tell that there's now this fourth option here, which says vehicle customization. We can see that there's the shuttle, delivery system, and vehicle bay. There's also the options down below to see exactly what the shader looks like. Oh boy, I'm kind of leaning into Destiny now. But anyways, would that be the right way to say it now, or the skin? Let's just go with skins. This right here on the bottom section here is pretty much going to be the skin choice. As you can tell, If you want to swap it out, you can swap it over by choosing the other option. And overall, I think this is going to change things up quite a lot. I am wondering which pelican will pop up when it comes down to, extracting. Will it be the person that activates it first, or will it be the host? That I wonder. The developers have mentioned this right here, specifically saying, additionally, the Viper Commando's Warbond adds our first step in customization with vehicle patterns. Customize your Hell Pod, exosuits, and Pelican 1 via ship management. I wonder if we're able to unlock certain patterns by completing goals, or are they going to just release these randomly with the Warbonds? That I wonder, but enough with what I have to say. I am curious on what your thoughts are. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Next up, we have a Sony update because you all know about the blocked regions. Sadly, nothing has been updated in that regard, yet we might see some changes very soon because it appears that Sony has changed their name. It's no longer PlayStation PC, it's now PlayStation Publishing. Of course, you can see this information down below in the change list. We'll now talk about the developer's response to some questions. Evil Boss replied to this user who asked, I'm curious if you guys play the live game when developing changes, or if you guys use your own internal builds at all times. Evil Boss replied with, depends on what is being tested. If we test unreleased stuff or things that demand debug stuff, we can't really test those in public, but we do run a lot of testing on the branch. That later is the one that gets released. This right here I find intriguing because when it comes down to it, they do some testing on public servers, but if it's unreleased items, they of course have to keep it private. Next, there's a question about the future, and this is what this person asked. Hey Evil Boss, when thinking about the game in the future, 5 months to 2 years from now, what are your expectations and feelings? The developer replied back, I have gazed into the content pipeline and it is vast, just hoping the good stuff gets fished out first. And I'm sure whoever's watching this right now, I'm sure you can agree that we would like to see that content as soon as possible. Whatever it is, if it's that good, let's go ahead and hope that it does, quote, get fished out first. And last but not least, this question has to do with Pilestead, and this person asked whether or not Pilestead is happier doing what he does now instead of being a CEO. Evil Boss replied with, I think it's a bit too early to give a proper answer, but he seems happier, which that's great to see, and hopefully he is, especially with everyone that's working over there at Arrowhead. Just cheers to them, and anyone that's currently in Sweden, it's National Day for you guys. So cheers to you guys and have a great one. And by the way, if you're currently in Sweden, let me know by commenting down below. I would love to know. And last but not least, we are going to talk about the major order because we are about to fail it. And if it does happen, it's okay. Things happen. But a big part of it is because of miscommunication. If we check out the bottom section here on the right side, it does tell us that we have to head towards the left side. For some of you, this might be surprising because the only reason why we have to do this is so that we can make it easier to liberate those other planets and also to make sure that the SEAF team is alright. And as of right now, it appears that's not going to be the case, and we're most likely going to fail the major order as well, which is going to be quite dramatic, but I'm sure this is all going to make sense here soon, and I'm sure we'll receive the message either tomorrow or the next day on why we failed. I'll cover it. If you guys have not done so, subscribe, and also turn on the notifications as well, so this way you're notified once I upload the video. And side note, when it comes down to the black hole, I know a lot of you guys are saying it is actually a black hole, but I do believe it's still a wormhole because at the end of the day, wouldn't we all be sucked into the black hole? It just looks like it's slowly grabbing items and sucking it in, which is not that dramatic, as you would imagine a black hole would be a little bit more intense. With all the information being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news, and we're now going to check out the top 3 comments. If you guys would like to voice your opinions, your voice on the channel, comment down below. The first comment here is by James XM4240, and this person says, of course, this drops when my work break is ending. The second comment is by Larox YT. This user says, jungle themed, Illuminates are ambush attackers. Jungle, Vietnam in HD 2. And last but not least, we have Della V3 that says, staying with the NAM theme, they should have added a white phosphorus eagle strike. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.